Governor, I know what a busy time this is. Thank you for joining us. Can you help me understand why the numbers are exploding? In the spring, I get it. We didn't know what was happening. We were in trains, we were in subways, we were all over the place. Now, we have changed all of our behavior. Why are the numbers going up so much? Where are people getting it?
Good to be with you, Stephanie. I think it's from a number of places, but I don't think we can underestimate pandemic fatigue and transmission in private settings. So we constantly take steps to address where we see transmission is occurring. We cut out seating at bars. We closed indoor dining at 10 o'clock. We've lowered indoor gathering limits to 10 people. But frankly, and that will help. All of that will help. But the fact of the matter is, I think people are sick and tired. They're letting their hair down in their private homes and private settings. It's cold. I don't think you can underestimate that a lot of our lives have moved indoors after a pretty successful summer outdoors. I think it's a combination of all that, and we just got to plead with people, particularly during the holidays, to don't do that. Don't let your guard down. That's exactly what this virus wants us to do. We can't do it.
But is there anything you can do besides plead with people? If we're doing it in our private homes, what are you going to do? Have local cops count how many cars are in the driveway?
Yeah, I mean, literally, our compliance, by the way, has been high. It's even higher now. But at a certain point, this is a plea to individuals just to do the right thing. Celebrate Thanksgiving just with your immediate family, low single digits, likewise for the holidays that follow. And that's a down payment, God willing, with a vaccine to a back to normal holiday season next year. But it is largely a plea for personal responsibility. We can address the public square, as they say, and we continue to, but we have to plead with people to do the right thing when they're on their own.
What did you learn over the spring that's going to help how you tweak restrictions so that they're more effective this time around? Schools are closing, but I got to tell you, I walked into a Target yesterday. It was jam-packed with people, and they were not buying essential goods.
Yeah, well, that's not. I hope they weren't on top of each other. That's not good. Were they wearing face coverings, I hope?
Ish, but we're allowing people to go in these big stores, and we're not checking those numbers, but we're not sending our kids to schools.
Well, we are still doing kids in New Jersey, for the most part, at least have a hybrid experience. So we've got plus or minus the same number of school kids as New York City, but we've got them spread over hundreds of districts. I think 500 and something of those districts are hybrid, 160 something are remote, about 100 are full on in person, and there's a couple of dozen that are a combination. And our hope, if we could do it responsibly and safely, is to get as much of an in-person educational experience as we can. The actual school experience, the school buildings, have been quite a successful story so far. And we're 2.5 months into the school year. I think we've had 56 in-school transmissions. That's out of over 3,000 buildings. We take every one of those seriously, but that's well within any expectation. So our hope is we could continue to do that as it relates to school.
Schools have done an extraordinary job. How do you decide when the state has to step in and shut things down? What's the line? Where's the number?
There's no one number. I mean, we look at a whole range of numbers, but we look in particular, Stephanie, at the numbers that we know are hard numbers. Hospitalizations is a hard number. We could compare that apples to the spring. Positive tests, of which we're now setting or virtually setting daily records, is less reliable because we had almost no testing capacity in the spring as a nation, and we were no different. Now we people a day, but it's the hard numbers of hospitalizations, intensive care patients. It's the positivity rate, the rate of transmission. Our folks look at a whole range of data.
If you do have to shut down your schools, are students across the state of New Jersey equipped with the Chromebooks, with the school supplies they need? In New York City, we've got 60,000 kids going to school virtually now, and they're without their basic necessities.
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way, but we're not at zero. I think we had over the summer 230 or 240,000 kids that either lacked the device or the connectivity. We've got that down to, I think, about 35,000, but that's 35,000 too many. But we'll continue to look at the school reality as we have from the beginning on a district by district basis. No two districts in our state. You know the state well. It's urban, it's suburban, it's rural, it's north, central, south. We deal with each one of these districts on a one-off basis, both with the state Department of Education, Department of Health, but also with the local health authorities, the local superintendent boards of education, and we'll continue to do that.
It's also a state of small businesses, and you're in a really difficult position because many small businesses are angry. They're fighting back against restrictions because they're trying to stay alive. They're not getting any additional support from the federal government. We have not seen PPP extended or any other program. Is there anything from a state perspective you can do to help tide these businesses over?
Yeah, well, through our Economic Development Authority, we're still putting money on the street. I'm happy to say, whether it's grants, loans, or discounts for PPE for small businesses, and we'll continue to do that. But your point is the right one. No state has enough money to deal with this meltdown. No one state, no matter who we are. And we need the federal government to step up, and not just step up in a modest way, but in a big way. I was on with Speaker Pelosi last night. I remain optimistic that something can get done here, but the clock has been ticking. It's not just ticking now, it's been ticking since early summer. The federal government did a really good job, I think, in the spring into the early summer with Congress leading the way. I mean, it was a bridge over troubled water. The problem is that bridge just broke in the middle of the summer, and folks have been left without a lifeline. Small businesses, unemployed folks. The need for a federal stimulus is overwhelming and I think clear as a bell and well beyond any political perspectives.
You're optimistic about a possible stimulus deal. Are you optimistic about getting a handle on this virus in the next month? Do you honestly think you can avoid a shutdown given where the numbers are going?
Again, we'll shut down if we think by doing so we will directly impact transmission. And we look at all of our options all the time. And we'll continue to. But I would be lying if I did not say two things. Number one, the next 2 or 3 months are going to be brutal in New Jersey, and I believe in America, but New Jersey is what I know the most. And secondly, I also know this. We have wide open communications with the current administration. We have wide open communications with the next administration. They, however, don't have any communication on vaccines, on testing, on the virus between those two camps. That is completely, utterly unacceptable. It is the current administration's responsibility to fix that and fix that quickly. In the absence of that, we're putting people's lives at risk unequivocally.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.